Hi everyone.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
Hello everyone.
So today we're going to talk about CD6.
Yeah.
And just a quick recap of the previous CD. So in CD5, we talked about the ruling class, the controlling elite class, and that everything in the universe is energy vibrating at different frequencies. And the two caveats of the brain's transmission, which was the intensity, the power of the frequency, and the duration, how often you do it. So CD6 is going to be one of my favorite topics, the importance of feeling good now. I love that bit. And then more
Massive.
on the law of attraction, how to transmit a frequency, belief, and how to increase burning desire. So let's begin.
Let's begin, shall we?
Okay, so the law of
Enthusiasm's out 1 minute in, I love it.
So the law of attraction obviously operates 24/7, whether you know it or not. You know, our brain is a transmitter and receiver of frequency, energy, and vibration. Every time we think a thought, we are transmitting a frequency. So this can be conscious or unconscious, but some successful people, as we know, they do it unconsciously. So they don't even know that they're using the law of attraction, but they just happen to be successful or have the vibration for manifesting wealth and things like that. So we put out a frequency with power and intensity over a long duration, and everything in the universe works together to match that frequency and brings it to you incredibly fast. So the question to you guys is, what happens when you get really good at doing this, when you have mastered broadcasting a frequency and manifesting
with power and intensity?
Yeah. So what happens when you get really good at this?
It happens automatically because you've been doing it so many times that you're programmed correctly, if you will, and then you broadcast unconsciously, your unconscious competence, and you're doing it correctly unconsciously, which is
what everyone wants to get to.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks.
That's exactly it. So you know, your manifestations just happen faster and faster because
You get better and better at it.
even better.
Sometimes you hit a sweet spot, sometimes you hit something and it's easy, and other times you're not going to hit everything every time, but the more you do it and the more success you get, that creates more success and more confidence, and you're going through the conscious competence stage, and when you realize when you see it work, it makes it happen even faster.
That's right.
It, yeah.
That's it. Spot on.
Manifest faster and faster. It comes rushing towards you, like you said.
Like a magnetic pull.
All right.
I'm the first half hour, I'm going to be, this is just ridiculous.
So finish this sentence. What you want.
Wants you. I win.
And what's the key element in having what you want? What's the key thing that you need to have?
The key thing of everything.
Feeling good right now.
Feel good, yeah.
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 So like when you're feeling good, something in you raises to make you manifest that dream quicker and better and faster.
That's when you know you're in the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
starting here. It's your level of belief.
Belief.
Yeah. So definitely, I mean, I don't know if you've noticed yourself, like when you feel good, when you're really feeling, you're just having a great day, you know, and you're feeling really good, your vibe is really up, your level of belief goes up with everything. You know, you don't get as many doubt or fears or worries coming in. In fact, you think, yeah, I feel limitless. I can really do this, you know, and it's such a great feeling. And so that's why we're going to go on to the feeling good.
There's two ways he mentions when you hit an extraordinary amount of anger is also a very, if you're depressed, expect to be angry, and you can channel that emotion powerfully, but the most powerfully is feeling good. And it's like a snowball effect. He doesn't say that. It's like a snowball effect where you feel so good. And if you think about what you want, the intensity of the frequency is a lot higher and a lot more powerful, which then intensifies the frequency, which then pulls it faster towards you.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
I don't know if that was relevant or what you said, but
that was
try that on.
Well, Jamie. So Napoleon Hill says the key to success is one thing, but actually he's broken it down into two things. Can you remember what those two things are?
Define your dream.
And get the burning desire for the achievement.
Well done, Owen. Well done, man.
Now I have time. I don't have to translate to
Out of
anyone.
nowhere.
So define your dream, clearly know or define what you want. Now, it's really interesting that a lot of people, or most people, actually don't know what they want.
They just focus on what they don't want, which is what is being used to make people stay at a certain level where they don't rise up. They want everyone's, I think, victim to it, where if you don't if you don't use this material and use the law, you can get swept away by people's opinions or the media or anything. And you've got to there's something I read somewhere in a book, and it said that you've got to exercise it competently all the time, otherwise you'll not it's happened to me once or twice where I've gone a few days and just not realized getting on with life, and then not realized you start thinking negative thoughts and you don't do what you should do. You should keep the burn all the time to do it.
It's amazing how quickly negative thoughts can come in again,
For me, it's 2 or 3 days. If I just forget, or I'm in a Sukha tournament, or I'm doing something and I go, oh my God, I'm feeling a bit weird, and then you realize, hang on, sometimes if you're working or something, can just we're all human, but then to go straight back to understanding what you want, not what you don't want.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And Kashmir, you've got that example of that guy.
So first of all, just wanted to add, it's like a ship without a rudder, which is what
Brilliant.
If you don't have any dreams, desires, if you're not consciously creating anything,
you're not moving towards anything.
You're not moving towards anything. You're just literally swept by the seas of the.
I can't remember what book it was in. It was if you is it Earl Nightingale when he says 999 times over 1,000 you will get to your destination if you have a rut and you know where you're going. If you don't, they'll just go anywhere, which is most people, and they keep them in the cycle of doom, I suppose.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I've got an example to share about this topic of how many
Look at that.
actually don't know what they really want. Yes.
Is it a first class flight?
Well, this is another story. This is a real life thing happened in 2014. I used to be in MLM, multi-level marketing, and I was on the prowl recruiting members. So I was with my team members, and we went to our local shopping center. And then, you get these guys selling sky packages.
And the stalls.
In the stalls in the middle of the shopping center. So one of the guys in my team, he went up to them and said, "What is your dream? What is your goal?" And these were Indian guys working there. And he was like, "I don't have any goal."
Hold on.
What do you mean? I cook, I clean, I come home, my wife makes me dinner, I look after, I come to work. That's it. What is there else to do? There's no time to dreaming. What are you talking about dreams, right?
It's like Bimji.
Oh my God.
Talk about goal.
She's gonna do
The accent was going to come out.
And that was the real reason. You just want to do the accent, didn't you? You didn't want to think about anything. It wasn't about the call. This has been building up for 2 months. You didn't want to do any of these calls. You just wanted that little 10 seconds to yourself. And he was just saying that as if to say, that's my, well, I'm just, I don't know, what can you do?
Yeah, that's it. And actually, it's surprising how many people out there are like that.
Most, definitely.
Most people, yeah.
They think it's a waste of time. It's just his answer was so crazy and shocking, because at the time I was completely immersed in all of this, studying, like Think and Grow Rich, Kevin Trudeau CDs, Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor. I was totally immersed about creating goals, law of attraction, learning all this stuff. And then for a normal person on the street, a 3D guy to say this, it was shocking. It's almost like you forget how ordinary people think and talk, because I'm so in my
life in a nutshell.
People.
And then there are some people who kind of know what they want, but they're not clear.
They don't know what to do.
They don't know what to do.
There's doubt, there's disbelief, there's
and I want it like this, and no, maybe like this, and it's all kind of jumbled up. Or they think they know what they want.
I went yesterday. There was a mini tournament in Llanelli where I live in the club, and they wanted me to come down to do like photos and selfies for the tournament. And I went down. I had a couple of beers, and I just sat and enjoyed and just listened to, as we all do, just listen to people, the way they were speaking. I was like, oh my God. I used to be, when I was 12, 13 years old, I was like them. And some guy is working in I know, a care home, and he's saying, "Oh, well, you know, what can you do? Hands in it, what can you do? I mean, what can you do?" I said, I know, it's terrible, it's terrible, it's terrible, it's terrible. And I came out of there quite relaxed and happy, just realizing, knowing, you know, you've got your own brain here. You don't need to get in the consciousness. I was, oh my God, as you say, just how normal people are.
Yeah.
And you realize, and you think, and all even the successful people I meet are all, well, how do you do that? How do you do this? How do you do that? What do you do that? And they're all teachable, really teachable. And the people who aren't teachable just don't want to know, don't want to know. And we're very lucky to have that DNA, I think.
Definitely. Yeah. And my favorite topic, what's the template behind all of this work? All of it.
What is the main template behind all of it?
Always to feel good right now.
Yeah, that's
it. Feel good now. And he repeats.
Keep feeling better.
And yeah, keep feeling
better. I've heard that so many times on Kashmir's visualization 10-minute. Keep feeling better. That's sort of stuck in there, because I normally go to sleep with that thing. And I listened to CD6 the last few days, and keep feeling better. I'm like, yeah, I remember that when I was visualizing what I wanted, and when it manifested, I got quite emotional, because I was thinking, oh my God, that is so true. Yeah. So true. People are chasing things, and it's just about feeling good now.
Feeling good now. Where the magic happens. Yeah, it's crazy.
So, you know, what does feel good actually mean? It can mean different things for different people. But when feeling good could be anything from contentment to peace to safety.
Depending on your history. Depending on your history, if you've had a bad life, or if up to now, and then you just want to feel content, or you want to feel, or you've been content and maybe you felt bored, and you want to feel excitement, you want to feel exhilaration, there's loads of different ways of feeling good as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no right or wrong way of feeling good. Feeling good is feeling good, you know. Yeah. And it may change moment to moment. So at one point you might feel contentment, and then another moment you might feel excited, you know, and that's okay. They're all feeling good, you know. So that's what we want to aim for. So, you know, I love it when he says, do you wake up in the morning with a smile on your face? You know?
Do you know what? That's the one thing I can't do the first 2 minutes. I have to go through the rig ram every morning, because I feel like crap every morning. thanks to my mother, because she hated mornings. I'm gonna put all the blame on her. I wake up and go, okay, I just jump out of bed, and I'm like, I'm okay then. But I have to. I know that, so I've got the tools to work with that. Get up, I'm feeling good in the shower, sing in the shower, play some blasting song. Annoy the fiance. So why are you playing that? I go, it's just great. This water's fantastic, and just laughing.
And feeling good is a major indicator, because just imagine if you're not feeling good and you're thinking about what you want, but you're not feeling good about it, you know, so your indicator is that you know that you're in that
off track.
Yeah.
Because you've got an intention and counter intention, so that they neutralize each other, and then you can't, you don't know, you're just in, I call it the cycle of doom, where you're just sort of you're in this little mix. You've got to feel good.
And you're actually missing the point, you know, by thinking in the moment about something and not feeling good. So you're missing the point, because it's always feel good right now, you know. That's an indicator that you're off track.
Yes, absolutely. And it is challenging to feel good now, because there are so many external things that are happening, and sometimes we get triggered by something that's unpleasant that's happening outside of us. And so, you know, in those moments it's hard to feel good, but the main thing is always working on feeling better,
moving up that
scale. So
that takes self-awareness, that you've got to be aware of the emotion. Oh, look, I'm feeling annoyed right now, I'm feeling frustrated, I'm feeling
what
angry.
could help me to move up just that little bit more? You know, you're not looking to just feel blissed out straight away. Just how can I feel a little bit more?
And shortening the refractory period. You don't want to stay in that negative emotion long, whereas other people think it's okay to feel angry. I'm just going to feel like that for as long as I want to.
And all week.
A very mini example. I spent a time with Mark Selby, who just won the World Sukha Championship in April, and I was having a beer in the hotel, and I was showing him the emotional scale, and he said, am I a clairvoyant or something? I was just showing him what the human emotions are. We probably all see the pyramid or whatever. You've got bliss at the top, and you've got fearing whatever at the bottom. And I was saying, where are you? And he said, normally irritated, depressed, angry. But he used that emotion from his childhood to become a world champion. So he used the dark side of the force. And he said, well, what is that? I said, well, if you can't get there and you're unhappy, get to irritated, then get to content, because nobody can go to the top. If you can, to be honest, we probably could if we use certain tactics, but if you can't, baby steps.
Yeah.
Because you believe it.
Give me one thing. Selby knows about the emotional scale and everything.
I showed him. So we were in the bar, and I showed him. I said, just out of interest, because he's won 4 world championships. He's worth £10 million. He's done the stuff, got the trophies. But they're not perfectly happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're chasing the dragon. And it's funny, when I was talking to him, his eyes went, because everyone thinks he's perfectly happy. Tiger Woods is perfectly happy. David Beckham's perfectly. We know, we know, us guys know, because it's the stuff they get. You'll have a yacht. He says that you'll have a yacht, but you want that inside feeling.
And you showed him the scale of Esther Hicks, right? That the scale was like.
Yeah. So
like,
saying that's the scale. He's always here.
Mm-hmm.
Irritated, depressed, angry, annoyed, because he's chased for something his whole life, and it's sort of it's not quite. Everyone's been there, you strive, you get it, and is that it? It takes if you've got if you climb Everest, you spend 2 minutes on top of the mountain, don't you? And he was always here, and didn't realize, well, hang on, I can just feel. And I helped him, because the next few days he was like going up and up and up, irregardless of snooker, money, and everything.
Yeah. Because I had a client she was a life coach, but she was a life coach to celebrities, and she won the Women of the Year Business Awards, and she wanted to win that, and so she strived to get there, and she goes, when I get that award, I'll be happy. And then she got there, she got the award. Yeah, she was like, well,
what now?
What next?
Was that it?
Yeah.
Have you seen Tyson Fury's interview in YouTube? It's about 8 minutes long, and he says, want to be a world champion, want to be a world champion, want to be a world champion, blah, 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 blah. And he said, I had £100 million, I was the world undefeated boxing champion, blah, 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 all the stuff. And he said, I was suicidal, and I was driving the Ferrari 150 miles an hour, hoping to hit a wall or what have you. And he said, I think his words were, when I had the money and won the world titles, I was like, well, that was a lot of rubbish. That was that. Even me with the snooker around here, people say, well, don't you want to be a world champion? I said, well, yeah, I do, but also, and I just don't bother, because they just don't teach a pig to swim, because I couldn't be bothered, because it's a lot to myself, but it's more important to feel good now, and people are always striving to feel good when I get the £1 million or whatever. Sorry, I went on about that.
No, that's so true, that people are just striving, and I'll be happy when I get there.
Chasing the dragon,
yeah, happy now. So this is something that actually Katie does emphasize a lot. Even in level 4, he mentions it so many times about feel good now, and it's such an important point not to miss. It's such a crucial point. So the next question is, what are 3 ways? Okay, so you want to define your dream, you know what it is that you want. What are 3 ways of defining your dream? Three ways that you can do it.
Be specific, non-specific, or just feeling good, and you want a certain emotion to come into your life rather than stuff.
Yes, that's it.
General, be specific, and focus on the feeling.
Yeah, so specific could be, I don't know,
specific car
with these seats and this color and this make and this model.
I used that tactic. I wanted a certain car, I wanted a certain this, certain that.
Yeah.
But I think it's better to just go on the feeling. He says. Did he say the easiest way, or?
I think he said, or I think it was general and focus on the feeling. And I mean, with general, you can be, but you're not that smart. You don't know what the universe has got for you that will be right for you.
10 times better.
Or 10 times better,
Joe, I don't know if this is fun. When Joe meets Mary.
Yeah.
I don't know if I think he says if you go for something specific, like a car, then you might not, your level of belief might go down a little bit because for whatever reason, I think he says.
Yeah.
I think with the specific thing is that sometimes we think we want to have this, but in reality, once we have it, it's not that what
You're
they
not going for the
expected.
stuff, you're going for the feeling, aren't you?
And if you're focusing on the feeling, for example, it's life is much more adventurous because you're not looking for something specific, and therefore you don't have much resistance.
Yeah.
And
Your level of belief
stuff comes
goes up.
in, and sometimes you get better stuff.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, it's a way better approach.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think so too. I think when I have tried to be specific, what I find is a lot of doubt comes in.
Yeah, which is what he does, hasn't it?
Yeah, and then also sometimes if I'm trying to be too specific, I keep changing my mind.
Yeah,
you know, okay, I'll have this. Okay, no, I'll have it like this.
Or what's the right way to think?
And then I'm questioning myself. What's the right way to think? Should I be thinking this way, or should I be?
Want this,
and it just gets really confusing. So
It gets a bit messy.
Yeah, so definitely for me as well, agree, focus.
It's a very interesting topic. I don't know if you guys have read Law of Attraction by Esther Hicks. There's a part which is very awesome. She's saying that about being specific, that you can be specific as long as you feel good, right? Like you can keep defining as long as you feel good, and that can make you also make the vibration stronger, no? But be careful about how precise you are, and you can precise things by the contrast, no? About what you're living in your life. So it's something, it's very interesting.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, no, definitely. I totally agree. I mean, if you're feeling good, if you're being specific and you're feeling good,
then that's the point.
That's great. Yeah,
that was
that's
the whole point. As long as you're
feeling
good,
yeah, you're
regardless of being general, specific, or focusing on the feeling.
Yeah, how you're feeling is a major indicator. So
for some, it does take them to be specific about a particular thing that they want
to feel
good, and it helps to maybe raise their belief, or they get really excited about the red leather seats of the car that they want or something. So that was being specific, right? Saying I want red leather seats, and they define the color and everything. But if it got them excited and they're feeling good, so then that's the key. Yeah.
I found even getting the car, I feel that the most bliss time of my whole life when I was trying to manifest was lying in bed before going to sleep, listening to the visualization, and just didn't need the car.
Wow.
Didn't, and I said this to my fiance, and she just thought that she doesn't think I'm a crackpot, same as everybody. She really supports it and everything. But said that's amazing what you just said. I was lying in bed, just not needing didn't need, because I was there. I'd gone there in my mind, and 3 weeks later I had the car. it came. Yeah, so you can go there in the mind.
Yeah, and you've got no resistance. You don't need anything.
No resistance. No.
So it's gone. Yeah, that resistance is gone.
That's the ultimate state.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So we were going to say, give examples or share your experiences when you define your dream. Yeah, but you've done that now. You shared your example. Yeah, thoughts are things. Thoughts send out physical particles that go out into the universe that have a magnetic pull. And
but I've been calling them frequencies.
Dr. Joe says, actually, Dr. Joe Dispenza says that your heart is the feelings. The feelings of the magnetic pull that in the experience and what you want. So that's really important. So what happens when you have a burning desire for its achievement?
Life becomes more fun. And that's not the answer. That's what he says as well. What's the question, Kashmir? Sorry.
Like, what happens when you have a burning desire? What's the
benefit?
So if you have a burning desire for something, what can you do? What are you able to do?
Yeah, what are you able to do in your technique when you do have a strong burning desire? It would be
comes to you faster or something?
Huh? Oh, yeah.
It comes to you faster what you're thinking about?
Yeah, that's one element of an end result. Yeah.
Mario, what was your...
You're focused on it a long time because you're thinking about it all the time. And also, if you have a burning desire, it's also very strong. You have a very strong magnetic pull. Yeah. And that's that's why you need a burning desire, because that's,
You don't just kind of want it.
you're
You
thinking
need-
about it a lot, so you send off a lot of duration, but also a high intensity. So that makes it come even faster and faster. So
That's right. That's
the
right.
optimal state.
And you can't just kind of want it. You've got to need it. I think he says somewhere where you don't just kind of want it, because then you're not putting out a frequency that's strong enough to have the magnetic pull of the frequency.
Obsession for it, you know.
Pardon?
You have a magnificent obsession for
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, surely, you know, I'm sure we've all had something in our lives that we've had a burning desire for, and you can't help but think about it all the time. You know, when you have a burning desire,
Couldn't help it.
you can't help it. Even if you don't want to think about it, you think about it because you've got that desire for it.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're thinking about it all the time helps with this whole, you know, transmitting the frequency, but also, like Mario said, the intensity, that the power of it is much more stronger.
So then
There's something, can I add something? Because last time we talked about when thinking about something, I think you, Mina, and Oscar said something very similar, that about the burning desire, that maybe you can think about it 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, but at some point you can feel bad, you know, so then you change your thoughts, no, your feeling, no?
Yeah.
So I want to ask you guys, like, how you do it when it comes to manifest something. Like, you focus for a couple of minutes and then you feel good, then you focus again and then you feel good.
He
How
says
you-
68 seconds is the minimum, and I think he says if you do it for a certain amount of time, you can. And somebody asks, can you do it for 68 hours? You can do it for 68 days. You can do it for longer, the better. He says, isn't it? With more intensity.
Yeah. So
yeah, but what I mean is that it's like what Minal said, is that sometimes it happens to me also, that if you're very focused on something and you're thinking about it, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, so at some point, it happened to me also, you start to feel like, I don't know, doubts or something.
comes in.
Yeah.
That was actually going to be the next question. You know, what are the pros and cons of having a burning desire? And literally, Armand
actually,
actually answered that question because and brought it up, because that was going to be for discussion, that, you know, we have got pros and cons. Because when we had the first class ticket, when we manifested, again, we only thought about it for like a couple of minutes,
maybe 5 minutes. We talked
yeah, 5
about
minutes,
it.
because we talked about imagining and visualizing as if we had
And
a
that was
first class
it.
ticket,
We
and
didn't
that was
think
it.
about
Then
it
we didn't think
ever
about
again.
it ever again.
And then it
And
happened.
then the week later, when we were flying back, it happened.
Yeah. So
He
I
said
think,
there's no rule book, didn't he? He said that if you can do it for longer the better, but if you do it for a certain, I think 68 seconds, you put out enough to get a boat, to have a boat come by or a helicopter come by, to have something that happens. I think, I don't know if I'm making any sense there, but if you do it for 68 seconds, he said that's enough scientifically to manifest it.
yeah, and other similar.
I'd done the same. I danced around the room. I did, but I'd won something, and I was dancing, I was screaming, shouting at the top of my lungs. I didn't need the stuff to shout just on my own in the room, saying I had it, and that came a week later, 3 weeks, 4 weeks later. So that was 2 minutes, 3 minutes of doing that.
Yeah, and we've done that.
Power
We've
and
done it.
intensity,
So Amon, you know what you were saying is, like, I do it for shorter periods of time rather than 10 minutes, unless unless my vibe is really up. So what I've noticed is I'll have some days where I'm just feeling good for no reason at all. You know, I had that just 2 days ago. My vibe was so up and I didn't know what it was, why I was feeling so happy, but I was. So I used that time to think about what I wanted more, because I knew that because my vibe was so up, my level of belief was up, and doubt and resistance was really low, like non-existent.
No resistance.
So I used that time, I cultivated that time to really think about what I wanted, and, like, you know, I'd imagine it, I'm sort of being it, I'm doing it, I'm scripting it, so I even write it. So I use those times more. So when I'm feeling good, and I can't explain why, there are some days I'm just feeling good. I'm sure we all have that. We just have a good day.
Yeah, with you there.
Yeah, and so those are the days I do it more. And the days I'm not feeling too good, I actually do it less, because I find it really, I struggle to actually think about it. But the more you do it, the more your level of belief will go up. It's like when we were doing Dr. Joe's meditations, that in a meditation, you visualize the same thing over and over again to the point that you actually believe that you are it, or it has happened.
Is that auto-suggestion? Something like that, is it?
So that's getting your, so what he does is he gets your brain into an alpha theta state so that you can actually enter the operating part of your brain, your mind, which is your subconscious mind. And from there, you reprogram yourself to actually believe that the event has already happened, and you put it all in the present tense, like it's actually happened already.
That happens to me about 5 in the morning. Yeah.
So when you keep doing that, like people do it with health issues, like if they've had cancer, people have healed themselves from cancer doing his work, because they played it around so many times. They played like scenarios, like they're going to the doctor and the doctor says, you're healed. The scan says you've got no more cancer left in your body. And then they play the whole emotions of it. And, you know, one guy said, I'm calling up my wife and I'm saying to her, guess what? You'll never guess, the cancer's gone. You know, and he replayed that so many times that when he wasn't meditating and visualizing, he actually, in the waking state, he believed it already happened. And then the actual thing he visualized actually happened. He went to the doctor.
It's like textbook, isn't it? It's like textbook. Is it Greg? What you sent on the? I've listened to the Lost Gospel of Thomas, and Greg, and he says, it's like husha. He does that chant, doesn't he? Yeah. Already done, already happened.
Wasa.
That's it. And he says, and what Trudeau says then is that if you do that, but you don't believe it, you won't get it. You've got to actually believe it, and then when you hit that belief, it's like you're away.
Yeah, that's it. So this is, you know, it is a challenge, you know, from like, you know, the question you asked, Aman, it's definitely a challenge. If it wasn't a challenge, I probably would be manifesting way faster than I am. Yeah. So doubt does come in, but it's actually being consistent with what you, the more you imagine it, the more you visualize it, the more you feel the emotions of it, the more your level of belief will go up, and there'll be less doubt, less resistance over time.
And then
and Dr. Joe's technique is just another technique. It's similar to what Katie's saying, but Dr. Joe just gets you into a very meditative, alpha theta meditative state, so that you get into the subconscious. You actually overcome your body, time, and environment. So you no longer, you even forget you're sitting in a room where you're sitting. You know, and when you do it really properly, you come out from the meditation and you think, oh, where did I go?
You did actually go somewhere.
You did go somewhere, yeah.
You did actually, your body's still there, and you exteriorized probably.
And some of his meditations an hour long, but when you've done it really properly, you feel like only 5 minutes has passed. And it's almost shocking, like you get up and you think, oh my God, I've been sitting here for a whole hour and I didn't even know. And, you know, your legs or aches or pains, you know, when you're sitting in one position for a long time, you overcome that, because you're overcoming your body, your time and environment. So you overcome those 3 things, then you're already in that quantum field of infinite possibilities for you to create whatever you want.
Amazing what you just said there. And I've seen, it's like it's an amazing what you just said, but just another example of the magic of it.
Yeah.
Of what is.
People have created and manifested the most amazing things in just doing these meditations. You know, it takes work. It's not like a quick result, but people do get results, especially when they're in a situation where they've got a health issue there's no cure for it, you know, medical cure for it, or they've got a chronic disease that they have to be on medication lifelong. Then, you know, what's the harm in trying this, you know, these meditations?
Yeah,
and
it's
many people have healed.
The placebo effect is one of them, but with a sugar pill and everything. But this is obviously the quantum field.
Yeah, the quantum field.
Yeah.
You
awesome.
Really you make yourself believe.
Exactly when he says about reading a book and the guy's in the forest and he's got his shirt on and he's hot and he's sticky, and you're not actually reading the book, you're in the book, sort of thing. You're there.
Yeah.
You're there. Yeah. And I just like goosebumps there, because it happened to me when I was reading. Sorry, off topic here, but Think and Grow Rich, where he's in the board meeting, and I said this 2 weeks ago as well. But you had Thomas Edison by the end of his bed, and Thomas Edison has put his arm on it, gone, it's a bit more real than you thought. I was just like, threw the book in the air, I'm out of here. It was amazing, but a similar sort of
do, because Neville Goddard talks about imagination, and when you imagine so well in your mind, you actually believe much more what's inside of you than what's happening outside of you. Your inner world becomes more real than your outer world.
Don't need the stuff.
No, and then when that happens, you are happy, you are smiling. You know, when people do this imagination visualization, like Dr. Joe's retreats, you see people with smiles on their faces, and all they're doing is they're just sitting there, but they're feeling, some of them are crying because they're crying tears of joy, and there's nothing outside of them that's changed, but it's an internal thing, it's an inside job. So
but the physical world will change as a result.
And the physical world will change as a result. It will. It just has to, because that's the law. It's a universal law.
It's the law.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing what can happen at the 10th level or 15th level or something, where all this is taken for granted. That's all in the bank, and then they talk about the actual what's going on then.
Yeah, that's it. So
so yeah, track 5.
So track 5, actually going on to what Aman was saying, you don't need to know the how, the doubt creeps in, and all of those things. So remember this thing, it's such a huge, you could write pages on this. When the attitude's right, the facts don't count. Just on that line, you can write so much about it. When the attitude's right, the inner stuff, the thoughts, the beliefs, everything else, the facts, what's going on in the economy, the world, the chaos, that doesn't count. Right, so the law of attraction works in such a way that hundreds and thousands of variables will be affected, and things will shift in such a way that the human brain cannot comprehend. You could be a genius and you still will not be able to figure out what the universe is doing. So sometimes what will happen is you're vibrating, you've got a burning desire, you're sending out the frequency with intensity and duration, and something bad happens, and then something bad happens. And you think, how did this happen? I was thinking all these good things, but the bad thing had to happen for you. It's one of the thousands of variables that the universe has given to you, so that you get to where
want a new house, want a new house, want a new house, want a new house. The house burns down.
The house burns.
You want a new house.
and so many people from Dr. Joe's retreat said that when they got back, their relationship fell apart. They lost their job. You know, all sorts of things happened because their vibrational frequency had risen, and their vibration was no longer a match for that job or that person or that relationship. You know, so as bad as it sounds, it's actually for their own good, because they're meant to be doing better things. They're meant to be going better places. So always remember this, that if you feel like you're on the right path and you're feeling good and everything seems to be great, but something bad happens, know that it's for your good, for your own good. It's just you can't figure it out. Our brains cannot figure out all the intricacies.
I'm on my phone. I want to show you something. It's really cool, actually. I got to find it. I'll carry on. to back up, where when I wanted a new car, my car basically broke down. I lost its wing mirror, and it was a write-off. And there was nothing wrong with it until I wanted the new car. I want a new car. I want a new car. Car broke down.
There you go. There you go.
Car broke down. And I got the photos, and I was like, what have I done wrong? What have I done wrong? I wanted this, and then I started going, and I thought, hang on, you got exactly what you asked for. Right. When the car broke down there. That was last year. That was a year ago, and I was like, okay, it's just to back up what you're saying, basically.
Yeah, that's it. It seems bad, but it's not.
And because the frequencies are in the quantum world, not in our physical universe. When you are beaming out a frequency that is permeating all matter and brains and picking up by other brains, that is more powerful than the physical. That's how the physical is created, from the frequencies that we're all putting out and is all around us. So that then is more powerful than the physical, obviously, because that's what we're all made of and what we're doing. So when your attitude's right, then the physical will happen.
That's it. Exactly. Because the facts are just the 0.0001% of what.
I never got that before, and then the more you do, you realize, okay, I get it.
And remember that 99.9999% is off our radar screen. It's not what our 5 senses can perceive. And so, you know, Katie described it as a 3-inch diameter. That's all we see. That's the radar screen. Just imagine a 3-inch diameter. It's tiny. It's so small.
Tiny
and we as humans, we get so caught up with the 5 senses and what's happening around us that we take it so seriously.
Yeah.
Actually, it's such a small, minute thing. You know, the quantum world is way bigger. The things that
and that's where I think 99% of people don't believe it because they can't see it. And because everyone, not us, because we're very teachable, but most people in the world, they think they know it all. The non-teachables, and because they can't see it, then that's the end of it. But then if you have a phone call, it's the same thing. You can't see the frequency beaming out of your phone, slamming through the ceiling, hitting a satellite, bouncing off somebody. Even us now having a conversation within half a second, but they believe that because they can see it.
Yeah, that's it. Remember that saying that they say, seeing is believing.
Where I believe it when I see it. Oh my God, that bloody phrase.
I believe it when I see it. You know how the whole world is in reverse.
Yeah.
When I was telling people about the trading with the football, and I was saying, I took people randomly, I don't show it down anyone's throat, and then they said, oh, I'll believe it when I see it. I said, okay. They said, I'm a true believer, is when I'll believe it when I see it. I go, okay.
Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
No problem. I'll be over here.
Yeah.
So going back to what you wants you, people, circumstances, events, situations will come into your life and give you what you want in ways that you could never have imagined. So what stops this technique from working? I'm sure we could
doubt and focusing on your radar screen.
And lack of belief. Well done, Mario. Good line, sir.
Yeah, you just don't believe it, doubt, all that comes in, the worry, the how, all that. And we're saying this and we know this, but it happens to all of us.
Yeah.
At some point, it's a real thing. And even when you know not to think about the how, it comes in sometimes, right? Just recently, just last week, I was thinking, but how is this going to happen?
And I'm like,
I was saying it.
Way.
And she reminded me.
You're focusing on the
you're thinking of the how.
0.0001%, the irrelevant part of the training balance scale that you don't need to know.
The more advanced we're getting, you realize then you go back to the thought, you go back to, I was like, then you go back and you go, how? This is like number 3, number 2, sorry.
And then, you're looking at the radar screen, you're thinking, how is this going to happen? This is happening, that is
contra
happening.
Evidence. And
there's just so much contra evidence around you. And it's just like, how do you overcome that? It's remembering and engaging in this work as much as possible. Not just Katie's work, whatever is inspiring you and keeping you focused. And the more you do it, like I know when I read The Happy Pocket Full of Money and I really concentrate and read it, my vibe goes up.
Yeah,
all of a sudden my belief levels go up just by reading, just by spending, 15 minutes, 20 minutes reading. And so just all those things, doing all those things, what Katie says, reading books, listening to audios.
Because he knows that's going to pop up, and he's telling us to read the books, do the stuff, do this, because you're going to viral off. And listen to the media, and that's why the media are there, the newspapers and blah, 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 to brainwash us.
Yeah, and also remember, our brains pick up other people's brains. So let's say collectively, a lot of people are in fear. We might be picking up on that as well.
The global consciousness, isn't it?
Yeah. So sometimes you think, why is it so difficult for me to get my vibe up or, get my belief levels up? Sometimes you're picking up other people's brains as well. So other people's thoughts. So there's a lot that's playing in what we're doing. So the more you engage in the work, the more you do the inner work as well, even the visualization techniques, the meditation, whatever works for you, the more you unplug from that matrix of what's going on.
The field, he calls it the field, I think.
Yeah.
The matrix.
So this is why, all this work is really important, and that you keep going with it. Mastering the basics. You never stop.
It's a lifelong thing.
It's a lifelong thing. So when you do have doubts, what's happening is you put a counteractive transmission, and what you're really saying to the universe is stay away. Even though you want something.
Stay away.
That's it.
So how do you get the high desire and belief?
Damn, I know this one. Oh no. Putting pictures of what you want is maybe one of them. That's not one of them, is it? Damn. How do you get the higher desire? And he says, we're going to talk about this because this is really an important subject, he says.
Yeah.
You have to go for like step by step, no, or something. I don't know if it was like focusing on a goal you can achieve first, and then no, I don't know how to explain.
Got it, Aman, yeah.
that's
It's a
the one.
sweet spot, you know.
Sweet spot.
The sweet spot is, you know, can you remember what it is? He defines it as.
Yeah, how do you define the sweet spot?
It's when it's something you want, that you really, really, really want, and you believe you can get it, and you've got a high intensity and desire for it.
Big
I think that's
enough.
about half of it.
Big enough you have an excitement, no, and small enough you can believe, no, you can get.
That's it, yeah. Yeah. So sweet spot is when the
Dream
goal
or
or the
that's
dream is.
big enough to excite you and small enough to believe that you'll get it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
Boom.
that's it. So like, you know, like you actually helped me, Jamie, on this one. Remember, I was trying to get some money coming in every month, and you could just focus on £100 a month.
Start there, because like it's true. It's true, because if you start, if we all of us believe we can attract a cup of coffee for £2.
Yeah.
Not all of us believe we can get a Ferrari. I don't believe I can get a Ferrari. I don't want a Ferrari, to be honest with you. But if somebody give me one, it doesn't do anything for me. But I wouldn't believe it if I had to go and get it. But you've got to start where, like I say, I'm so sorry to bring up snooker again, but when I played on TV for the first time against the world number 3, everyone was saying, oh, go and win, go and hammer him, go and win 6-0, go at first to 6. I was like, well, doing all this, really in the mix, thinking, I don't believe I can get to 2. So let's start with 1. And I didn't believe I could get 1. So I thought, in snooker, it's like 1 point to 147 points. Well, try and get to 20, get in the balls and make 20 and play safe. And then I got to 2-all. I don't believe I can win. So you start, then you try and get to 3, but not just saying it to win the match. I don't believe I'm going to win the match. I won 6-4 because I got 5-4. I'm in the balls perfect. I was like I can win. And I was like, wow. It was like that changed with that. What you said, Kashmir, that changed me, because that's what they do in the fancy seminars. Tony Robbins in the Secret. And people are concentrating on £100 million, £1 billion a day to income, and they never ever believe it, so they never think about it.
Yeah.
I think I knew what I wanted to say. It didn't come out very well, but that you've got to start where you believe.
Yeah. So you know when you're in the sweet spot because you're feeling good about it when you think about it.
Yeah.
So you know, really ask yourself, you know, is this in the sweet spot? How am I feeling? You know, that's such a big thing. So
huge, really, really big point.
Yeah. So we're just on the last 2 tracks. Track 7.
Yeah, so first get successes and then doing something easy. What was the French restaurant example?
I think it was
It got a couple of $100.
Oh, yeah.
Like I really, really want to. Oh, how good I would feel.
So in the beginning, you might be how. So you're making the steps towards eating in that expensive French restaurant, and you know what the steps are roughly. So you kind of know the how. And that's okay, because you want to start somewhere, and then your belief level goes up. And then, you know, like he says, success builds confidence. So, you know, I used to do it with parking spaces. Like I done
it as well.
Too.
It worked as well. It worked.
Yeah, it works, and that's definitely a belief for me now. I just know I'll find a parking spot.
Outside the snooker club, it's impossible to park. If somebody comes down to play me, I go, well, how do you find parking? We couldn't park at the park in the car park 5 miles away, whatever, 100 miles away. I get a space every time. It's weird. I said it's strange. I just hear earlier, I think. I said that.
Good one to start with. Yeah. So when you get to the unconscious competence level, the how, which is when you're looking at the radar screen, just becomes irrelevant. You don't even consider it. You don't even think about it. So the sweet spot has to be where a goal where the belief level is 8 or 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. It's got to be pretty high, that belief level. And the more you do this and see the magic happen, your belief level goes up for other goals as well. Ask and you shall receive. You know, you get not because you ask not. And ask and believe what you are asking for, and you shall receive, and you shall have whatsoever you ask.
That's scriptural.
Yes, that's scriptural.
So track 8. So recap is number 1, define what you want, and then there's 3 ways to do it, being, you know, general, specific, or focusing on the feeling. And then obviously a dream book and dream board helps as well. And then number 2 is burning desire for its achievement, and 3 is belief levels should be high.
It should be in your sweet
Should
spot.
be in your sweet spot, yeah, and focus on it and believe it, and you'll achieve it. So in fact, he says, you know, see it in color and picture, and completely involve yourself involve your 5 senses in it, like, you know,
Go there in the mind,
go there in the mind, yeah, completely. Imagine as
and to write a list as well, in it, of what you want,
yeah,
and then pick out what you believe your belief level is. Because if you've got a monetary something you don't believe, you'll never get it, because you're not putting any desire out. And if you do put the desire out, you're not thinking about it, and if you're not thinking about it, then you're not putting, and there's no belief there, so it doesn't add up.
no, exactly, yeah. And then imagine if you already have it, and feel the emotions of having it. So in CD7, in the next session, we're going to go through more about how to define your dream, burning desire, belief levels, emotions, and something called the 10-second miracle. May you never be the same again.
It's the end of the session, which we finished perfect timing.
Timing as well.
Perfect.
Hope you
Great.
all enjoyed that.
We'll
And we
see
shall
you.
see you in
at
2
the
weeks'
next
time
session.
for the next session.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.